Good morning, and we are live. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Mindset in the Morning, and I look like I am in a vineyard. I'm actually in South Carolina at my parents' house and decided that this would be a perfect opportunity to start the weekday off with, I don't know, some wine and grapes or whatever's going on behind me. So I hope you had a phenomenal weekend and you were able to do some self-care and do something for yourself that put you first. And now it is Monday morning. If you are watching this live, we are here 5 days a week, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, but it's YouTube, so you can watch it whenever you want. And on the show, we talk about mindset tools and tips and tricks so that as you go out into the day, that as they come up, you're able to identify them and you're able to navigate life, bob and weave, and allow yourself to be the most powerful person that you know that you are. So that is Mindset in the Morning. If you've not yet liked, if you've not yet subscribed, hit that button, and that helps blow up the algorithm because we want others to get this message as well. So hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we're going to get into our topic. So we watched one of my favorite movies on the other side of this wall right here. There is a cinema, and for my first movie in the cinema, because my parents just built it. My dad just built it. I asked, my request was to watch Shrek because, I'm a 40-year-old child. And so we watched Shrek last night, and it's interesting every time you watch these shows, these cartoons, especially, at different phases in your life, and you start to catch different things. And as I was going through this, I've watched Shrek. This is probably my 50th time, so I am not new to the Shrek family, but looking at it with a new set of eyes and picking up various things and tips and tricks. And there's so much that we can talk about. So we're going to be talking about a lot of those this week on the show. But one of the things about Shrek that he says in the beginning of the movie is he doesn't like to be around people because the way they define him, that he is nothing more than this big, ugly ogre. And it wasn't him that defined this. This was everyone else. And so first thing we're talking about this week is allowing other people to define you. And, this is a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a while. And I thought, okay, well, this is very timely since I just watched this movie. And often we can get into this trap of other people defining us in whatever capacity. And it could be in what they say, it could be in what they don't say, and yet we interpret it. So let's go through some situations, and then let's talk about how we can avoid those. How can we deal with, because, it doesn't feel good to hear certain things or feel a certain way. And how do you go out, face the world, do the dang thing, and still, feel good about yourself, even if somebody's saying something about you, even if it feels like you're being, rejected, or, whatever feelings are coming along with their actions. So let's dig on in. Okay. Now, you may hear people outright just talk about you and say, oh, she's not any good at her job, or she's not a good parent, or because this happened, that means this. And they'll look at situations, maybe there was a time in your past that something happened and they continue to bring that up, or it could be something at work that didn't go the way you thought it was going to, or it could be something in your, just circle of friends that, happened once, or maybe it's just the people that you're running around with, and they talk about you in a certain way, and all of a sudden you start to internalize that. And it's real easy to hear things and believe them. And I think especially if you're on social media, I know I've had that in my own life, because the more public you become, the more you put yourself out there, people are going to have their opinions, and some people are going to like what I have to say, and some people are not going to like what I have to say, and some people are going to like me, and some people aren't. I say things like they are. And some people don't like that. They want it to be a little bit softer. Or some people might think, wow, you need to be a little bit more bold. You're kind of holding back. Or, the stuff you have to say is crap. I mean, there's so many different things that people could say about me. And it can be, when you hear these things, it can be tough. And we're going to talk about how we how we separate ourselves from them, but we'll get there. But be aware that when you are hearing things that people are saying, that they're opinions. And just like you have opinions, I mean, think about something that, something maybe that you think about somebody else, and you think, oh, this person is that. I mean, do you think that person is telling themselves that they are that? And let's say maybe something negative. Oh, that person's a jerk. That person's an ogre. That person is, awful in whatever capacity. And do you think that that person is defining themselves that way? Do you think that that person's parents would define them that way? So there's often this trap that we get caught in, that just because we hear something means that it's true. But in fact, it's just an opinion. It's just an opinion, and everybody is entitled to their opinion. And the truth is, I can't go around changing everybody's opinion because there are 8 billion people in this world. I can't. So you may not like me because I'm tall. I've definitely had people in my life that have said, yeah, you're just too tall. And that could be, guys a lot of times. And my preference is to date guys that are taller than me, but there are guys that are shorter and they're like, yeah, or they're taller than me. They're like, yeah, you know what? I like short women. But does that mean that I'm an ogre? I'm too tall? Does it mean I'm too tall? I mean, that's absolutely, I could make that correlation between the two, that, oh, well, because you think I'm too tall, that I am too tall. No, I think I'm perfect the way that I am. And I know that. So just because you have your opinion doesn't mean that it's true. It means that it's true for you. I'm too tall for you. That means that I'm not your type, and that's good. Let's figure that out now and not later. So watch out for opinions. Watch out for what people are saying or are not saying. Sometimes we make up things when we don't know, when people aren't communicating, or when we didn't hear. Maybe a situation will happen. Maybe it happens more than once. And we start thinking, why is this happening more than once? And we make up reasons. I mean, our brains, we talk about this all the time. Our brains are goal achieving machines. We're very inquisitive human beings. Well, it's getting a little blurry, isn't it? We're very inquisitive human beings. And let's see. There we go. Hopefully that'll make me less blurry. We're very inquisitive human beings. And so we're always looking for answers. And if there's silence and we don't know, but we see patterns happening in behavior, then a lot of times we make up things. And are we always making the most positive things? For whatever reason, we as humans often go to that dark side. We go to that negative spot. Ooh, I just got called in the boss's office. I'm sure that I'm getting laid off. I'm sure there's something bad. Ooh, what did I do? And we go to this dark place because it feels more comfortable. And so we have to be careful of making up things that aren't there. So be careful of opinions, be careful of what's not being said. Be careful of how people are treating you. You may think because you're being treated a certain way, that means that you are a certain thing. I worked with this company once, and they had a change in leadership. And sometimes when new leadership comes in, they'll start getting rid of people. And sometimes, I don't know if they'll admit this to you, but I've seen it happen more than once. They'll make you feel uncomfortable so that you want to leave. I've seen this, and I've heard this from so many different people that, maybe they don't want to pay you severance, or maybe they don't want to fire too many women or whatever that looks like. And so they start to make people feel uncomfortable so that they want to leave. Maybe they put you in a job that you're not qualified for, and you're thinking, why am I in this job? And all of a sudden you have a lot of dissatisfaction. And look, I don't know that anybody's going to write that in a book. Yeah, make your employees feel uncomfortable. I don't think they're going to put it down on paper, but I've seen it happen a lot, and not just in companies I've worked for, but in people that I've talked to. So I think that there's something there. But just because these people are treating you in a certain way doesn't mean that it's true. And I'm dealing with this with one of my friends, and the company treated her very poorly. And the way she interpreted it was she took it very personally, that it was something against you. And I said, now what if it wasn't against you, but there was an agenda? There was already an agenda that was put in place, and you just happened to be in that path, and they needed to get rid of you. So it had nothing to do with you, your performance, your abilities, your skills, but it had everything to do with the fact that you were there and they didn't want anybody there. So whether that was you or someone else. So we have to be careful when we're being treated a certain way, that we're not taking that personally, because it might not have anything to do with you. And even if it does, are we allowing other people to define who we are? Or is that just an opinion? Just talking about new leadership coming in, because I think so many of us have dealt with that. The new leadership doesn't know all about what you've done. They probably didn't even look at your resume. So there's a whole litany of things that they have no idea about. Even when you start a new job, no one knows your past history and what you're capable of. Only you know truly, fully what you're capable of. So when we allow other people to define that, we're putting ourselves in a box. And there are things about you that you haven't even tried yet. So there is more to you than even you know. But you got to allow yourself to try these things so that you can experience them. So if someone comes into your life and sees a snapshot, or maybe it's even someone you've known for a long time, and they want to define you, they want to put you in a box. Oh, you're just this. And it doesn't mean that it's always negative. Like, you are a coach, you are a teacher, and yeah, you might be those, and you can be other things. So you don't have to be one thing, because society defines you as that thing, good, bad, or indifferent. You're the one that gets to stand up and say, you know what? I am that, and I am this, and I am a mother, and I am a father, and I am a sister, and I am this, and I and. And I will continue to, wait for it, challenge myself and grow myself so that I can continue to be the things that I want to be. Because you get to do that. So you're not just one thing. You're not defined by what someone is saying. You're not defined by maybe even that one thing that you're saying, or what they label you as. You ever had someone say, oh man, she's rude, a jerk. Ooh, yeah, he's a monster. Are you? Or is that just what they're saying? Is the reason you're having some issues, some dissonance with that, because you feel that that doesn't land with you, that's not who you are? And that's how you know. That's how you start to know. And we've talked about catching these feelings as they're happening, so that we can start to look and see what's going on. So start to pay attention when people are saying things, when they're trying to define you, put you in a box. What are they actually saying, and what aren't they saying? Okay, now how do we work out of this? So we have this awareness. We know that sometimes people will call us something. Dang it, man, you're such a moron. Are you a moron? And maybe you made a mistake. That's okay. But does that mean that you are all the time a moron? No. So here's a few ways that we can detach ourselves or get through the situation. When we hear things, when we see things, maybe somebody's posted something on social media, maybe you've got negative feedback in your review at work, maybe something happened at work, they're trying to force you out or make you feel uncomfortable, or you believe people are talking about you, or you have people that just outright tell you things to your face and say, you're an awful person, whatever that is. And they may say positive things that you say, well, I don't know that that defines me either. And the truth is, only you get to define you. That's it. So if you want to get into the driver's seat of your life, you have to own that. You have to own it 100%. You have to tell yourself that only I get to define who I am, not you, not them, not him, not her, only me. So when the situations come up, be bigger than them. Be bigger than whatever someone said, a comment, a label, whatever that is for you, be bigger. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about those little things because I have bigger, important things to worry about. It's like if you got a scratch, just like a tiny, like you don't even barely see it. Maybe it's a little more than the scratch. Maybe it's like an actual cut. Would you not go to work the next day because you have a scrape? No, you'd clean it up, put a Band-Aid on it, put your Neosporin on, put your little Band-Aid on, and you'd go to work. You wouldn't allow that to take you down, for you not to go to work, to get money, to pay your bills, and take care of all of your responsibilities because you have a little scratch. You wouldn't. So be bigger than that scratch. And when it happens, when you see that negative feedback, when you hear that label, think of the scratch and say, I'm not gonna stop my life because I have a scratch. And if you want motivation, go on YouTube and watch these people that have lost their legs, their arms. They've been in some kind of accident and they kept going. We as humans can do incredible things, but it's here. It's here. The person that lost their arm to the shark or their legs to the bomb or got burned in a fire had to be bigger than the situation. There are 8 billion people in this world. You are not going to win all of them over. You are not. Not all of them are going to see the value that you have. And you know what? That's their loss. Their loss. And this is the mindset that you need to have as you're walking through life, is that, hey, I'm in the driver's seat. And I know that I'm the only one that gets to define myself, not you, not my family, not anyone. I get to define it. And I'm not going to be boxed in. And if you choose to say something, that's on you. And it very well might be insecurities on that person. Or they're trying to mask something about themselves, so they deflect it onto you. Oh no, you're terrible. Look, everybody, look over there. And they're trying to deflect something going on with them. So you just don't know. You don't know where that's stemming from. I've been shrapnel before when other people have, been going on about their life and they're deflecting things. And I think, what? And with my height, oh, you're too tall. I think you just think you're too short. I don't think I am too tall. I think you wish you were my height or taller than all the females or whatever that is. So it's not sometimes even about you. So don't take their deflecting and put it on you. Detach yourself from the outcome. You are not defined by your work, your money, how much you have. Your value needs to come from inside. And yes, the money in the bank may show some level of, work, but it doesn't mean that that defines you. Because even some very wealthy people, at sometimes, their bank accounts have gone to zero. Does that mean they're not smart? Does that mean they're not successful? Does that mean they're not worthy? No. So we can't define ourselves by these outcomes, by these material things in our life. And lastly, don't fight back. When it happens, don't fight back, unless that's the person that you want to be defined as somebody who is fighting back. Because how you respond, how you react, that's going to be indicative of your character. So how is it that you want to show up? Who is it that you want to be? You get to define it. And as you're going about your day, keep holding on to that. I'm the only one that gets to define me. You don't. And don't fight back. Just allow them to have theirs. In fact, if you want, show them, because we know that actions speak louder than words. So as you go out today, start to pay attention in your life where you've allowed other people to define you or to kind of take away some of your shine. Because it can. When you hear these things and say, you know what? That's their opinion. Everybody has opinions. Even I have opinions. And maybe even start to look internally and see where you're defining people and you're labeling people, and work on it from both sides. Don't let others define you, and work on how you define others. So with that, if you've not yet hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, do so now, please. That would be great. And if you know that this will help somebody, send them the link. You can just copy the link, send it over to them and say, hey, I think you need to hear this, and just let them watch for themselves. They'll maybe get the point. All right. I will see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a beautiful day. Cheers.